What is up, winning team? I'm here to tell you the full debrief because I did go on a date with this guy that I met on the airplane. So here's the debrief of the flight with airplane dude. Now, this is the way I would tell the story. I'm still working on my, ability with my relationships with females, and like if I had a girly group, this is how I would tell them exactly what went down. Okay. So, also, can we just talk about the fact that I've come such a long way? I used to literally would do full face of makeup, nails, everything, and now I'm actually comfortably on here. Oh, bless, he's just texted me as well. I'm basically on here like no makeup whatsoever, like not even mascara and just clear lip gloss, like, and it's not even over yet. This is crazy. Anyway, so I want to get into what happened because, guys, Guys, I was blown out of the water. Like at the end of the day, I was quiet. I was just sitting there with a smile on my face and I had nothing to say. So here's what happened, right? Let me give you guys the debrief. It's going to be a long one, so buckle up. But for those of you who want to hear the juicy details, the thing is, guys, for the guys out there, I know you guys stresses you out, but us ladies, we want to know the details. That's why I said I'm telling you as if I'm talking to the gals. So, I go on this. So basically, here's how it all happened. On the plane, we had agreed. Well, I had agreed. Somehow he got me. Well, I'm going to tell you how he got me. It's because of what he said. But he was like, I want to take you on one day here and one day in London when we get back. I was like, okay. Well, I didn't say okay immediately. I was like, I'll think about it. Right? Because we have 2 whole hours on this flight. So I'm going to take my time making a decision. And I'm not going to make the snap decision to say no. I'm going to at least give it a chance, right? Because he's being really sweet and very respectful. That's the key thing that you're going to see here. Honestly, it was his approach and his attitude and how nice and respectful he was and gentlemanly. That is what sold me. Because I felt like, okay, you're somebody I can actually spend time around because you're not acting entitled, you're listening to the things that I'm saying, and you're being really sweet and genuine, right? So that's how it all started. So hold on a minute. So anyway, so by the end of the flight, I'd agreed to 2 dates, right? I'd agreed to that I'd go on a date in Poland. I'd agreed that I'd go on a date in London, or at least that we could talk about it, right? And in my head, I was like, you know what? If I would go, I would go, right? Anyway, so we arrived back and this guy was just way too excited, yeah, after the first day, and he was messaging me like the whole day, like I can come, like I'm not going to say all the things he said actually because I don't feel like I'm not, by the way, I'm not, if anybody was wondering, I'm not about to share any of his personal business that he told me, because he did tell me about his personal business, and the personal business that he told me about and just everything is only fueled the fire stronger for my anger towards Jezebel, I just like to say. And I was like, Lord, is this what you really brought me here? Because now I'm even more angry and now I want to fight even more, because he's such a sweet gentleman, such a lovely guy, and like not like in a sweet like, oh, I'm so nice. No, because when I say these things about men, they're not here being all like little teddy bears. They're not acting like that. They're acting like how men act, right? But it's just that I'm appreciating. I'm the one who's making it all cutesy. They're not being cutesy. There's nothing cutesy about what he was doing. Okay, I just want to be clear about this because I feel like there's a misconception with a lot of guys in the world when it comes to things that we as women say. Listen, we are like that. That's how we are. So yeah, of course, I'm looking at grown men and I look at them as like just like little babies. They're like little babies to me. You know what I mean? That's somebody's child. They were a child once. Yes, they might be big and tall and scary and deep voiced and serious and whatnot now, but they're still just little babies. So it's me who's making it all cutesy. It was not him. I just want to say that because otherwise you're going to get the wrong picture. I'm going to try to depict it properly. Anyway, so we were, he was just too excitable at first and just like, I really hope to see you this week. It was really nice to meet you, blah, blah, blah. And I was just like, dude, and he did that thing that guys do because they get excited too fast. And this is actually what I've realized is part of the reason they fall for Jezebels, because a Jezebel will do everything in her power. Like I try to be a bit reserved because I don't want to give off any, like I don't want to come in 100 miles an hour because I haven't even decided where this is going yet. So I try to keep reserved so that I'm not leading you on. You know what I mean? But women with the wrong intentions won't do that. they will be like, yeah, oh my gosh, this is perfect. This is the best date I ever had, and you're the best man I ever met, and like you're everything. Because they know you're gonna. So I'm saying we know those of us women, like either those of us who operate at the Jezebelic type of level, know very well that you guys are gonna eat it up, right? So that's why I keep a bit of a distance. He was just too excited about the whole thing and saying all these messages and sending me all this stuff, talking about I should come and pick you up and you should stay with me for the week. And I was just like, sir, you need to calm down, which I did tell him the day after. I was like, I respectfully said, gently, I was like, it was really nice meeting you. And I really would like to actually see you. However, right now, you're doing, I think you need to slow down a little bit because you're overwhelming me and it's putting me off actually seeing you, which was the truth. Got to give it to the man. He heard me out. He was like, okay, you know what? I understand. And he dialed it back a lot. And I gave him some days to calm down. That's why I didn't see him until Friday. I gave him some days to calm down because I was like, you need to just like, it's like when you make a fire at first, it's big flames. Like we need to get just to the hot coal level, So anyway, we get to there, and because again, the fact that he did really dial it back, he was very understanding, and he heard me out even through all of everything. Again, this is a very grown man energy type of thing because other guys just get completely lost in the sauce, broken the brake all the way into the fifth gear, can't get out of the fifth gear, can't hold back, entitled, and now they start to like blame you as if you've done something. Because that was the thing, like the thing that guys do is sometimes they like act like it's your fault. Like they talk to me like, oh, they'd be like touching me, like going to touch me and actually touching me, and I'm like, can you please not touch me? Like guys I've just met, they've just approached me or whatever, and not even on a date, just they've approached me, right? Whatever. They'll be touching me, and I'm like, oh, well, I can't help myself. I'm like, that's a problem. It's not my fault. They're like, oh, but you're so beautiful. Thank you, but that doesn't mean you're entitled to touch me. And also, what you're doing right now is getting you the furthest thing away from touching me. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, so yeah, dials it back. I was like, well done, sir. And I was impressed again because there we go. Like, you know what I mean? Well done to being able to listen and follow instructions. Not instructions, but like just, hear me out and not make me feel guilty and understand that I feel like he understood, which a lot of guys don't tend to understand when they're behaving the way that they do, because I don't think you guys can help getting too excited. Like I said, it always happens, the googly eyes, the excitement, the promises, and all of this. That's the problem. And that was the other thing that I noticed with him, and I noticed with guys in general. Men are always promising me all these things right in the beginning. Because like I said, I don't usually let dates go with guys past 3 dates if I'm not interested, right? But by that point, they've already made so many promises. They've already told me all the things that they want to do. And I'm like, this is what you shouldn't be doing. This is what you shouldn't be doing. Because then if you now then speak with the wrong woman, she's now thinking, oh, perfect. I found the perfect sucker that I can take advantage of. For me, I'm thinking, oh my goodness, what a precious soul. We need to protect him, which is part of why I was going to see him because I was concerned about him. It's like something is wrong because he's been unwell and he took his medications for the condition that he has and he still was unwell. He wasn't sleeping throughout the week every time I would speak with him. So part of the reason I was going to see him was because I was concerned about his well-being, right? And I wanted to make sure that he was okay, which is another thing that I'd be doing when I'm going out on these dates. Because again, these men are single. They don't have women in their lives. They should have women in their lives because they need them. They need us because look at the state of them. I'm like, you can do all this stuff. You're so organized. Your life is incredibly well organized and you've got your things in order. You've got your life in order. You're a lovely gentleman and all this. So intelligent. But look at the state of your health right now. And he's like, I've taken my meds and it's not helping. I was just like, oh, for goodness sake. Anyway, so yeah, so that happens. It now came to Friday, and he'd asked me what time should I come pick you up. God bless his heart. I was like, you can pick me up at 10, because I was like, let's start early. Why wait till later? I'll just be sitting twiddling my thumbs thinking about it anyway. He drives from where his town is 10 hours away. 10 hours away, for an hour and a half away, sorry. So his town is an hour and a half away. He drives here, gets here early. I end up leaving early as well because, I don't take a lot to get ready. So I go to see the guy, I go meet him, and before he picks me up, he stops to call me like, do you like Red, he texts me, do you like Red Bull? And I was like, I do actually. And it's funny because I was thinking that I was thirsty at the time, but I didn't have time, I didn't want to stop and like make a drink and whatever, like, or whatever, and I didn't have any water that I could take with me. So I was thinking, oh, I'm thirsty, but I'm just going to go, like, I'll just get a drink while we're out, you know what I mean? So the fact that he just thought about getting me a drink was actually really nice, because I was like, oh, thank God, because I actually do need a drink. Get a drink. So he bought me a Red Bull. So he arrives, gets out of his car, bless his heart, right? And he's like, it's okay, I'll wait, because he was early. It's okay, I'll wait. And I was like, and again, this is me doing my voice. This is not how he sounds like. This is a 45-year-old Polish man, okay? It doesn't sound like how I'm sounding. But this is how it's sounding to me. And it's sounding to me like that because of how he's behaving, because he's being so nice and gentlemanly. So even though he's saying it in his, in his voice as a man, and he's not like talking in a emotive type of way, it comes across. That's how the energy that comes across to me, which is what which made me feel really safe about the situation. So I did what I do. I prayed to the Lord. I was like, God, if I'm not supposed to be there, cancel it. And if I am, protect me. That's always what I say to the Lord about everything. If I'm not supposed to be doing something, make sure it can't happen. And if I am supposed to be doing it, please look after me. You know what I mean? Because you never know. But I was also thinking along the way that, like, isn't it funny how people would think about a situation like this and be concerned about my safety, but then all the other things I've been through in my life, everybody just brushes to the side because I was in supposed safe environments. So we're not going to talk about the actual offences that took place in supposed safe environments, but we're going to worry about her when she's with guys who actually make her feel safe. And also I realized anytime I go out with any of these men at all, I've never felt unsafe around them. In fact, I feel the safest around them. It's actually one of the reasons why I like to go and see them, because it's like the one time in life I actually get to feel safe in this wretched planet. So anyway, I go down. He's there. He gets out of the car, opens my door for me. You know what I mean? Opens my door, and I was just sort of like, I get in the car, and you could tell from his demeanor he'd really reined it all in, and he was just very calm. And I was like, okay, this is good. So we get in the car, and he's like, okay, so I'm going to take you. I want to take you to my town, which is again an hour and a half away. I was thinking, great, because now I get to sit in the car, right? And I get to enjoy seeing this country, like driving through this country. And I had my little Red Bull. He's like, there's Red Bull for you, because he's not drinking Red Bull. We discussed this, because the caffeine, and it's not good for his health condition or whatever. We discussed this on the plane. Anyway, so I'm there with my Red Bull in the car, right? And we're driving away. So we're driving, and my goodness, you guys, this country is breathtaking. And like, he told me about this on the plane. He was like, this country is so beautiful. My country is so beautiful. And that's one of the things I really liked about him, and I like about men in general, of the patriarchal kind of men, is they take a lot of pride. I love that. I love that they take pride in things like their country, their name. Like one of these other guys who I know, who I talked to, he put his surname on his number plate, and I thought, I like that for you. I love that for you. I love that you're so proud of who you are, where you come from, your name, yourself, and they're not just doing that out of just like what's true pride, which is delusion. They've done things in life to make their name matter, to make their name a name worth, somebody taking pride in. So I'm like, good for y'all, man. I love it over here. So yeah, so he takes a lot of pride in his country, and like wanting to show me the town he grew up in, which has only got 10,000 people, and that's where we went, right? So we're in the car. I'm just like overwhelmed with like just how breathtakingly gorgeous this country is. This country is stunning, and that's why I have so much to say. I've got footage, by the way, guys. All the footage I've taken in this trip, I'm going to actually put into separate little videos. I'm going to edit probably in the airport / on the plane, because I've just been so busy with like the other things that it's just not been a priority. But you will get to see things from here, including where I'm at now, and also where his little town, which is so nice. So he's like, right, so we're going to go to my town. I'm going to take you around, and then we're going to go and have lunch with my mom. Stop. So it's raining real hard right now. I love it. This is literally bliss. Talking to you lovely folks while I'm in the rain, telling you about this just incredible situation that happened. So yeah, so we're in the car, and I could see he wasn't okay. His face was really red. He was sweating and he was shaking. I was like, he's not okay. And like, this is the thing about men, right? Is they really think they're okay and they're not. And the reason why they're not okay is because they're emotionally constipated. And that's why we as women are failing them, because I was like, this guy, whatever he needs, like, I just knew that there was something up. There was something up, and whatever that thing was the reason for his health. And I knew, and this is why I found it so fascinating, because I was like, I know that when we're taking all these, sometimes we're taking these medications and we're doing all these things, and it's not about doing those things. It's about the root cause. The root cause is not, it's something else. right? And men, I believe, are, it's really loud out here. Hold up. Okay, it's starting to lighten up a little bit. But anyway, and I don't want to go inside because I get really hot when I'm recording, guys. So it's nice to actually record outside because I can actually maintain reasonable body temperature. Anyway, men don't realize it, but they are, I would say, huge sufferers of, it's the rain, psychosomatic symptoms. So what are psychosomatic symptoms? They are symptoms that happen due to, so you get physical symptoms due to something happening psychologically. So that's why I believe a lot of men die early. That's why I believe a lot of men have heart issues, get into heart attacks and stuff, because they're internalizing. Whereas us as women are externalizing a lot of our feelings and emotions, they're internalizing. And if they don't find a way to express or release what's inside of them, that's actually what kills them. And that's why I worry about a lot of these men, by the way, because I'm like, you in your position at your age, it's not a good look. It's not a good thing because it's going to kill you. So that's what I was worried about. So that's one of the main reasons I went to actually see him, was like, anyway, he wasn't looking good. He was shaking, his head was hot and whatever, but he was doing everything fine. That's the other problem. He's still able to function. Like, he was driving extremely well. Got to give the guy his flowers again. So he has a car here in Poland and one in London. Now he just sold the one here because he doesn't need it anymore. It's one of the reasons he came. And here he drives on the right side, left hand, and the steering wheel is on the left, and the car and the speed and distances are in kilometers and kilometers per hour. In the UK, he drives on the left side with the steering wheel on the right, and it's in miles and miles per hour, which I thought was impressive. Because I was like, you're just flip-flopping between the two, and it's just another day at the office for you. And he's like, yeah. I was like, wow, okay. So we're driving. Country, breathtaking, just beautiful. And when I say beautiful, I'm so used to, like, in the UK, I'm realizing growing up in the UK was low-key. Anyway, so all the houses are different, all the buildings are different, every area's got its own things. It's just gorgeous. Anyways, you'll see in the vlog. I don't want to take too long. It's going to be long anyway because it was a long day. It was 10 hours. So we're driving through. I'm thinking it's beautiful. We're talking about different things. And then he was checking that I felt safe. Like, are you okay? Do you feel comfortable? Which I thought was really sweet because you could tell that he understood what he needed to understand. And again, you see, you guys, rather than sometimes be so quick to anger, because some guys would just get angry. They'd be like, what do you mean? This is the problem with women. This is how women are. Why is it every time? Some guys just come out with the anger. Other guys, this is what I'm trying to tell you guys this story for the sake of the guys as well, that like some of y'all's behavior, you don't realize that other men are doing things very, very differently to you. And so when we are acting a certain way, it's because we actually have a different experience, right? Anyways, the rain's stopping for anybody that wants to know. So we eventually get to the area where it's this little town, and I was just like, this is so precious. And again, it was so meaningful to me that for him to even show me the town that he comes from, because I just thought, wow, like, I don't know, things like that to me I feel like are really special, because that's something that's near and dear to his heart. Obviously it's where he comes from, it's where his family is. And the first thing he wanted to do in terms of showing me anything, because he kept asking on the plane, like, what do you want to see in Poland? What do you want to see? I'll take you to see whatever you want to see, anywhere you want to see, we can go to here, they've got this. And I was just like, whoa, sir, bring it down a couple of gears, right? But anyway, so we had a lovely conversation. Obviously, I'm not going to tell you guys what we're talking about because this is personal business. Shout out to the ladies out there. I just need to tell you guys something quickly. One of the reasons I realized that, I'm not going to lie, not to brag, but these guys, the men that I talk to, they do tell me about their lives. They do tell me basically everything. So I do know all the information about his life, basically. I will say that. But I don't share it. I don't even share that I go on these things. You see how much I keep things to myself? A lot of you ladies, you don't realize that when you're like gossiping and just like gossiping and all this stuff, and men are watching. The thing about men I've realized is a lot of, especially these types of men, they're watching things. They're just not speaking. They don't have to speak. The thing about men is they really don't have to speak. That's why I keep saying, I'm just here yapping on the internet. They don't have to talk. They keep a lot of things. They're really good at internalizing. So a lot of times they're observing. And if they can see that you're just, they're obviously not going to tell you about the personal things in their life because you're going to go about it, right? Hence why I always never tell guys I have a YouTube channel, because I don't want them to get the wrong impression, like I'm going to go and tell their business to the world, because I'm not going to. Right? So that's why I'm not telling you what he told me, but he told me a lot. He told me a lot. Let me tell you. He told me everything. Anyway, so yeah, we get to his little town. He's like, I want to show you around. So we just drove around the town a little bit, and he was showing me all the different bits. He was like, okay, let's go to my mom's. So then we go and stop outside his mom's. We go upstairs, and she's there, and she like welcomes us in, and I'm all like curtsying, feeling like so intimidated, because I'm like, I'm meeting your mom. That's crazy. I can't believe I'm meeting his mom, again, like in her house. And then they're bringing me out food. So we sit down. She brings me out food. She's made this like Polish soup that they make, and it's got like chicken in it, and like potatoes, and like vegetables, and this like this green vegetable that was growing like outside, and it also had boiled eggs in it. It was so good. And I honestly believe that it's like when you have like a woman that loves you, that cooks for you. Like I've always said this, love is the secret ingredient to good food. Like if you're cooking for people you love and you're thinking about how much you love them while you're cooking it, that's what makes the food good. That's why no one can replicate the mum grandma recipe, because you're not emulating the degree of love they're feeling while they're making that food for you, right? So I could sense that ingredient in the food, and it was just so nice. And she made these little and then she put in the middle of the table this little stack of these like potato cake, not cakes. They're kind of like, and this is this now. Don't be. I hope you guys aren't disappointed by my comparison, but I mean this with love, right? They were kind of like, if you take a McDonald's hash brown, which by the way is probably one of my top 5 favorite things in the world, the McDonald's hash brown. Take a McDonald's hash brown, squeeze it and flatten it, like the enjoyment of the crunch partnered with just the texture, and but this one was a bit more soft in the inside, and obviously more seasoned, and obviously made with love. Like, ugh. So she put those in the middle to have with the soup, and the soup was so good. So we had some soup with his mum in his house. He's showing me a picture of his daughter when she was a baby, and I was just like, you know what, this is just so precious. Like, because I felt so honored. Like, we didn't have to do this. This is what I'm saying. Other people on a first date, what are they doing? I'm like meeting his mom, who's just so chill about this whole thing. Like he's showing me his daughter, who she was so cute, because I got baby photos all over the house, because that was the childhood house he grew up in. I was asking him, I was like, is this the house you grew up in? He was like, yeah. I was like, whoa, that's so cool. Like this house is like, this is a house he's been coming back to his entire life. And also I think that's nice. I think one of the things in my life that I'm sad about is that I don't have like a place that was always where I went to, like a childhood home type of thing, because of all this moving that we did, right? So I feel so happy for people, and I feel like they're so blessed when they have that, because it's like, wow, you have someone you can go back to that, like, it's just nice. So anyway, we did that. We had lunch at his mum's house, although it was early lunch, because I don't even think it had been 12 yet, but whatever. This is after the man, by the way, has driven an hour and a half to catch me and an hour and a half now to go back to his area. So he's already driven 3 hours of the day. I'm just sitting there twiddling my thumbs, drinking a Red Bull, enjoying the beautiful, breathtaking sight that is Poland. Incredible country. And it's telling me that it's the biggest country in Europe. The population is 40 million. I say he was telling me. I was asking the questions, okay? It was a bit of both. But anyway, so, because I do like to immerse myself, like I like to know like what I'm about, and I like to hear from somebody that's from there and that's passionate. That's why I feel like the way that the Lord has me set up, just meeting all these men and them just teaching me about stuff is so clutch, because they're passionate, and because whatever they're also like either locals or people who grew up in these places and who know from the ground up. Like they're so much more interesting than any YouTube video, any tour guide, anything, right? I was like going around Rome, and Italy with Luca and Paul. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm saying. Long live the patriarchy. So we leave his mum's house eventually, and she was really sweet. She was like, "Would you like some more, whatever?" And I was like, "I'd eaten loads," because he didn't even eat any of the little potato cakes. I had eaten a couple of them, and they were really good. Honestly, I should have eaten a couple more. And you guys know I don't really be eating and having an appetite, but the food was so good. I realized that when the food is that good, then I actually do feel like eating. Anyway. So we left after having our lovely little soup, and it was just perfect. Our Polish soup is delicious, and whatever. And then I even left with a bottle of water, which is currently in the fridge right now, that they gave me, and they were just looking after me, which is really sweet. And then he's like, I want to take you to the church. So I don't know why he was taking me there, because I knew that he's not a believer, by the way, guys. Because he even told me on the plane, he was like, well, I'm Catholic because I'm Polish, but I'm obviously not practicing, right? Like, and he just said it as if, like, And I was like, yeah, I know, because that is Europe. And I was actually, again, impressed that he understood that, because a lot of European people, because because the church, we're going to come back to this because we also talked about Islam in the UK and all sorts this whole trip. Um, um, yeah, so I was impressed the fact that he actually was aware that he wasn't practicing, because a lot of people, even in England, people be like, well, I was christened at birth, so I'm a Christian. Or people say, oh, well, my family's Catholic, so I'm Catholic. I was impressed that he understood that, yes, because he's intelligent, right? He studied economics. He's a man of numbers, so he's always calculating everything. That's what he said. He's always calculating everything. This is what made our conversations quite fun, and also why I believe it's very easy for him to just be flip flopping between kilometers per hour and miles per hour. Because while he was driving, I was trying to like calculate myself, and I was getting stuck. I was getting slow. I'm all going onto my phone, and I was just thinking, Lord help us. And he was complaining about that as well. He was like, the young guys at his work and how they, to do the simple calculations, they have to go onto their phones. And I was like, sir, you so real for that, and you real. But me, I'm not good with conversions. I think I've told you guys before. I'm good with things that are like problem solving, algebra, trigonometry, like things that don't involve numbers, but that are numerical and logical problem solving. Arithmetic, mental arithmetic, horror. And conversions, horror. But also, I feel like part of it, again, is because of being in so many countries. America's doing one thing, America's doing cups and this and that, and we're doing this, they're doing pounds, we're doing stone. Like, it's confusing. And there's no logic to it. It's just, we all just picked what we were doing. And it's just dumb and stupid, if you ask me. But anyway, he wants to take me to this church. So I was quite surprised. And he was like, yeah, at this church, Mother Mary appears there, apparently. Guys, I've never seen a church that looks like it. You're going to see it in the vlog footage. I've never seen a church that looks like it. And I just thought, wow, God actually loves me, because how have I got myself to a place where I'm being taken to this small town of 10,000 people where everybody knows everybody in Poland by a lovely, gentlemanly Polish man, right? Yeah. Who's taking me to a church. And I've never seen a church like it. So you guys will see that in the vlogs. This is why I'm forcing you guys to go back to the vlogs. Also, it will just take forever. If I showed you guys all the footage, it will take forever. It's easy for me to tell the story. So we go around the church, and so this is when I started to take videos, because at this prior to that, obviously I wasn't like recording anything, because I'm not vlogging. I'm with someone, and I'm not one of those ignoramuses. This is why a lot of times you guys see me videoing is when I'm by myself. And I'm with people, I try not to, unless it's like when I'm in Italy and we're there all together 24/7, then I can go off and do my things. Or I'm amongst, people in the entertainment industry. So we're all filming stuff, because we all have social media and we're all trying to push our stuff out there. I just like to add that whilst I was there sitting, drinking my Red Bull, going through driving through all of Poland, gorgeous city, with a very lovely man next to me, I'd also like to add that in the background, in the United of Kingdoms, my producer and his guitarist are working on my song. Long live the patriarchy. So I was just thinking, this is amazing. God is moving mountains on my behalf and telling me to just be present in the moment, not to worry about what's happening. Just like this guy's like, don't worry, I'm going to do everything. I'm going to worry about everything. And again, men need to stop saying this. They need to stop. They need to hold back. Don't let us know. Don't let us know what you have, because that's how you're going to decipher a woman that appreciates you for who you are and a woman that's just there for what you have. That's why I think just don't dress up. Don't go and take take a woman somewhere expensive, for dinner and all this stuff. Don't pander. Just do the simple things. Suggest what you want to do. Suggest something nice and humble, and see how she reacts. That's going to be the quickest way for you to get rid of those Jezebels early doors, right? So anyway, because I would have been down for anything. I was happy to go on a hike. He sold me in the plane because he was like, I want to show you the lakes and like, we should go to the lakes and the forests. They're so beautiful, right? And I was thinking, you sold me now, because you guys know that's what I love to do. I'm sad that nobody ever wants to do it. Male or female, no one's ever interested in doing these things. These are the things that I'm interested in doing. I want to go and explore out in nature. I want to be amongst the trees. I want to smell the fresh air. I want to just be one with nature and in peace and in tranquility, which is exactly what's on its way in this story. So we then, so we've left his mum's. He's showing me to this church, which you guys will see. It was very interesting. And also they believe Mother Mary appeared. There's a lot of imagery there to unpack. So I was like, maybe we just do those things as their own videos. I don't know. We're going to figure it all out. I've got so much footage. So then we've gone to the church. He's like, do you want to stop in, go in and walk around? And I was like, yeah. So he stops, parks the car, get in, go in, walk around, come back. Of course, he opens the door for me again. He was opening the door. I was just like, wow, that's so sweet. It's the little things, because it's not that I couldn't open my own door. I obviously can. But it's the fact that I don't know what it is in men that makes them do these things. But what I will tell you is that all these little things that he was doing and that men do like this, it actually softens my heart, and it really brings out my feminine side, to be honest with you, because I feel just so like, oh, that's so nice. And then I want to be nice. So like the whole time I'm with this guy, the part of my brain, the heinous part of my brain was entirely off. Like I didn't ever for 1 second think any heinous thoughts. I was just being honest. I was just being nice. You know what I mean? And I was just enjoying the vibe. It was a really nice vibe. And so we get back in the car. He's like, okay, cool. Now I want to show you the lake. So I'm thinking he's just going to drive me to some lake and we're just going to like drive past it or drive and stop and look at it, which I would have been happy with because I was seeing the lakes as we were coming. They've got all these beautiful lakes, right, in the country. I really haven't seen a lot of things in this world. This is what I'm starting to realize. But anyway, so we've seen all these beautiful lakes, like as we're coming up anyway. So it takes me to this lake. We drive through like this like forest scene that could only be something out of a movie. And I kept saying to him, I was like, I feel like I'm in a movie because I did feel like I was in a movie. So we're driving through and then there's these birds they have that make these nests on top of like the cable wires, and it's really cute. I took footage of that as well. And I was like, why do they do that? It's like, we don't know. They just do. Yeah, so we go to this lake. So we're driving through all these trees. Also, the trees are extra tall here, like extra tall, which I feel like is because this country has a long heritage. And so, you know, the trees are really tall. Because for trees to be that tall, you guys know how I feel about trees. They have to have been here for a long time. Anyway, we're driving through and then we come in. All I see to the left of me is this beautiful lake, right? It's got all the decking going out into it. You got sand going into the lake as well because there's a lot of beaches here. There's sand going into the lake, and then there's like obviously all the kids and their families all playing, and then there's the deck you can go and sit on. It goes like out into the lake, so you're like sitting on the lake. But what we can then on the right, there's like a forest area, right? In front of us, you can see that there's all these like, it's kind of like when you go to like a fairground kind of thing, or not really, but like, you know, you got the little places you can get food, you've got the little arcadey type games or like things you'd have at like a fair. And it is beautiful. It is absolutely beautiful. It's absolutely lovely. Like it felt like a holiday destination type spot, right? And you've got all these different little cabins that people have that are just outside the lake, and they are just beautiful cabins as well because they're not like in a lot of places. Like, I'm not going to fire shots at anyone. I'll just leave that out. But they all have their own character. Like all the buildings, the houses, they all have their own character, their own colors, their own schemes, and that's what makes it so beautiful. You guys will see. So we drive in, he parks in, and he's like, okay, let's go. We come out, and then he's like, do you want to get some ice cream? We get this ice cream. Oh my gosh, it was half chocolate, half vanilla ice cream, and it was like in this like really thin but long thing. And guys, it was indulgent, it was decadent, it was just amazing. It was thick, it was like sweet, but not like sweet like something that's been had sweeteners, but like sweet, like naturally like made sweet. And it was, oh, it was delicious. Like it's probably maybe potentially the best ever ice cream I've ever tasted in my life, right? And so, and then he was just so cute. He was like, he grabbed the napkins. Like, should we get some napkins? He grabbed the napkins. He was holding them himself. Because when I went to grab some napkins as well, he was like, no, I've got it. And I was just like, oh, okay, okay. So then we walked down all this way through, we walked onto the decking of the lake. We went and sat on the lake eating ice cream, talking, right, for a little bit. And then we just sat in silence. And I was like, praise Jesus. Because I like to be with people but sit in silence because I don't like to talk as much as people think I do. So we sat in silence for a little bit. And then he just goes, are you okay? And I was like, yeah. And I was like, are you? He's like, yeah, I'm having a really good time with you. And I thought that was so nice. While he's eating his ice cream, which obviously he finished in 3 seconds flat because he's a guy and they eat like their food is running away. You know what I mean? And like they're going to die if they don't, you know? So we just sat on the lake, and then this is when we started talking about certain things which I'm not going to get into, but he did ask me like about my own life, my own history, and a few things, of which I told him, because another thing I don't do with men is I don't lie to them. So that's why I just like, I don't lie to them, because you never know where anything is going to go with someone, and you don't want to then like have started lying and then have to later on tell them that you weren't telling the truth, and then it's messy. So I always go in with 100% truth, because then it's up to them. That's what I believe that the Lord says. Like, I believe lying is a form of manipulation. When you tell somebody the truth, it's like their opportunity to do with that truth what they want to. When you lie to them, it's like you're almost manipulating them. And this is why I have an issue with men lying in general. And I've said before, I think lying is the least masculine trait. The one thing I expect of men above all else, especially different to women, is to tell the truth. So anyway, we sat there, we were at the lake, we talked about a lot of different things. And this is when we were talking about, at some point, the subject of having children came up. I can't remember exactly how. And then, so I was like, so how many children do you want to have then? He's like, as many as I can have. I was like, why is it always men like this who have these questions? They all of them, this is what they say: as many as I can have, as many as possible. I was like, great, right, got it. Because of course they can. They can be having babies until the day they die, basically. So anyway, and then we were giggling because I was like, because that's what I said to him. I was like, right, of course. But I've got to be here waiting like the whole. But I can only get pregnant 9 months. Just talking about it, which is funny. Anyway, we moved on. And he's like, let's go for a walk. So we then went for a walk throughout this whole area. Oh my gosh, you guys. There's the lake on the. So we gone and sat on the lake. We're staring at the lake at a different spot, and the forest is right behind us. And again, he says to me, do you like the sound of the waves? And that's what I was thinking about. I was like, this is amazing. I'm hearing the sound of the waves and the sound of the leaves of the trees at the same time. Because to me, those are the two most tranquil sounds you can hear on the planet. The sound of the waves of the ocean and the sound when like the wind blows through the leaves on trees. Right. It's just so peaceful. This is what I'd be going out doing. So he's like, do you like, and I was like, yeah, of course I do. And then whatever, and we saw some boats. And I was talking to him. I was like, "Do you ever been on a boat? Like whatever." He's like, "You want to go on a boat? We can go on a boat." And I was like, "No, no, steady on, dude, steady on. It's fine. I was just asking if you've ever been on a boat." Anyway, and then then we went continue to go for a walk, and we walked all up this like foresty area next to the lake, where there was like all these little like chalets and little cabins and little and houses, and like it was just beautiful. And then we go up into okay then we go up into the foresty area, and we're just walking, and it's just this road, and it was gorgeous. I couldn't believe it. I did a film around this bit, so you guys will see that as well. Then we looped perfectly back around to his car. He opens the door for me, gets in. He's like, okay, cool, got something else to show you. Go off, go to another lake. I was just like, you've got to be kidding me. Because that already was because that is, whenever someone asks me what I like to do for a day, I'm like, I want to go out in nature. I want to go out in nature somewhere. Anywhere in nature. Let's just go outside. Okay? I don't want to be out in some restaurant, in some dinner, and doing all this stuff. Because why do anyway. So we go to another lake, which is really cute. And he was like, oh, yeah, I used to fish here when I was a boy. When he was a wee lad, I used to come fishing there. And it was just stunning. Again, it was like one of these most incredibly huge lakes. Again, I took video footage of it. And there was just the smell of the barbecue in the background of them grilling up the Polish sausages. You've got people with tents in caravans, the kids running around, the laughter of the families. It was a vibe, right? And we would just, a lot of times we just stop and being quiet and be like, it's so peaceful, it's really peaceful. And he was like, yeah, I come out to these places all the time by myself. And I'm like, you see, you get it. Some people, you guys don't get it. And it's because you're the ones stressing us out. And you're the reasons why we have to go out and find these tranquil places to like gather our thoughts. So we did that. And then he was like, okay, what did we do after that? What did we do? Hold on, let me just remember what happened, because just too many things happened. Of course, though, the deal. But anyway, truth be told, I can't remember exactly what happened after the second lake. Okay, so much happened, I feel like. But anyway, so then we hop back in the car. Also, I was loving this because I love being in the car. I really do. I think it's because I grew up being in the car a lot. And I mean, for those of you who are in other countries, like in America, that's probably not surprising. But in the UK, people don't really go in places, you know what I mean, like that, by car. But we did, because me and my family have always just been, people that are out and about and around. Anyway, so we're back in the car. Also, I love being in the car with the guys because I get to see which car they have, why have they picked this car, what does their car do while they're busy focusing on driving us and getting me safely from A to B. I'm just there chilling, like looking at the car, looking at all the different random functions, asking them questions about this, that, and the other. I was like, what car do you have in the UK? And he was like, I remember what car he said. He was like, I'm not going to say actually, because I don't want to start. Actually, I'm just not even going to say what car it is because I know what it's going to sound like if I say it. But anyway, so so then we get back in the car again, and he's like, okay, I think we should go to dinner now, which was great timing because now I was actually getting hungry, which never happens. I'm never hungry, you guys know that. But because we've done so much, like we've done things, we've like been walking around, I'd moved my body, like I was like, okay, now I'm actually hungry, and I was actually looking forward to eating. So now we drive another 30 minutes, and I'm thinking, where is he taking me to this restaurant? And in this time, I'm thinking, he's so intentional, because you see, he had that look of focus on his face like babies do, right? Sorry to say it, guys, but they are like babies in the best way possible. right? He had that look of focus on his face the whole time of like he had a plan and he had a strategy, and he was going with what he had set himself out to do. So he's now focused, right? Because every now and then we would stop talking because I could tell that he was, struggling with multitasking, and he needed to just focus on whatever he needed to focus on for a moment. So now we start driving again. We've left his town, we've gone even further out, right? And I'm like, okay, I'm thinking, where are we going? Obviously, I'm enjoying the view because it's an incredible, beautiful, breathtaking country, and this is literally the dream. This is the dream. I'm just in the car. We're looking. I'm getting to see all these incredible scenes. It's just like so incredibly. I just felt so blessed. And I'm thinking about all these things. We're talking along the way, and also I'm paying attention to his health. At this point, he was looking better. So when we were walking around, I told him from early on, I was like, you need to slow down, because when we were around his mum's, he was just moving fast. I was like, sir, you need to slow down. So every time we'd be walking places, I'm somebody who walks really fast, but I intentionally was walking really, really slowly because I was trying to bring his heart rate down. I was walking really, really slowly and kind of forcing him to just, and that's also why I wasn't necessarily talking either. I was just monitoring him the whole time, right? And so by this point, his breathing had reduced, because when I first saw him, his breathing was really like, but at this point, his breathing had like reduced and his whole body had like reduced. It's like whatever. So I was thinking, okay, this is good. This is good. We drive. Now we get to another town. We start driving up the mountain. We start driving up the damn mountain, and I'm like, this is stunning. Like, it was beautiful. Like, I couldn't even record if I wanted to. I did film a few clips. I was so overwhelmed with how beautiful this country is. Like, this is why I've understood so much about why the UK treats Polish people how it does. I now get it, because they big time haters, because this is a stunning, beautiful country. The people are lovely, and Polish people are so nice. They're very direct, but they're really nice, right? Um, and then, like, if they talk to you, they're being nice and they're being genuine. And if they don't want to talk to you, they won't talk to you, and they'll just be harsh to you on purpose. And I love it, because it's like they're being direct. I'm not having to do algebra to figure out if they're saying what they're saying because they mean it or they don't. They say what they mean what they say. When they're being nice, they're being truly nice. And if they don't want to be nice, they'll be mean. And then everybody knows where we stand. And I'm great with that. I'm cool with that. That works for me. So we kept going. So we keep going to up this mountain all of a sudden, and I'm like, what kind of a freaking place? Because he's like, okay, now we're gonna go to dinner. So we did not need to do all of this, but anyway, drive up the mountain, get to this place, and it's like it's gorgeous. There's like these three buildings that all like made out of wood, because we saw a lot of wood. There's a lot of things I saw. There's so much to debrief on, but I had to get this off my chest. There's all these places like made of wood, and it's got like this like burgundy, like red, like ceilings, but like these dark wood like structures. And there's one building here, one building there, one building there. It's like, we're going here, we park up, we walk past the horses, right? And we go into this restaurant, which is just so nice and homey and lovely. And then we get inside and we sit down. Oh, I forgot to mention, when we were at the lake, after we finished the ice creams, before we went on the walk, we actually went to stop and have a beer. He had 0% beer, obviously, because he's the designated driver. Love me some of the patriarchy taking on responsibilities. And it reminded me of Jesus as well, and like how Jesus, after the Last Supper, he was like, he'll never drink the fruit of the grape again until he gets to be with us at the final wedding, when all is said and done, because he's so busy doing what needs to get done. That's what I'm saying. Long live the patriarchy. Um, so then we sat, so then we had a beer. I had a Polish beer. I was like, well, you obviously are going to order me a drink. You have to tell me what I should drink, because this is we're here. What should I get? So he ordered me a Polish beer. That was still at the lake. We now get to the restaurant. We sit down, we're talking or whatever. In my head at this point, I'm thinking, I've bottled it. I've bottled it. He doesn't want to be here anymore. He doesn't want to whatever. We order. Obviously, I'm like, you can just order. You should tell me what I should get, because I don't know what to get. Because tell me what's good for you're the local. This is why I like going out with the locals. And then he's like, do you eat fish? Yeah. I was like, do you eat mushrooms? Yeah. I was like, okay, I'm gonna get you this. So he gets me this fish and mushroom dish that I had. It was so good. I'll show you guys as well that in the vlog. So good. It was a Polish fish. It was kind of crispy. They kept the skin on, which I love the skin on fish. The skin is my favorite part. They kept the skin on. It was on this sauce, which had these tiny little mushrooms. It was creamy. There was these little potato cakes on the side that had broccoli in them, which, you guys didn't know, broccoli is one of my favorite vegetables, if not probably my favorite, alongside maybe spinach and like just all the green veg anyway. And this little slaw, but it wasn't like a mayonnaise creamy slaw. It was like a kind of pickly slaw. It was really nice. And again, or a Polish beer, which again, he had a 0% Heineken. I'm here drinking the nice, lovely Polish beer in this nice little venue. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I've bottled it. This is horrible. And then at some point he goes to me, this happens all the time. Okay. This is just an average day at the office. I want to just say, he looks at me, looks at my hand, he goes, oh, you're not wearing any rings. And I was like, no, I'm not wearing any rings. I used to wear some rings. I'm just going off on whatever. I'm not getting to the point of what's happening. You're not wearing any rings. I'm like, no, I'm not wearing any rings. And he's like, looks like you need an engagement ring. And I was like, and then a wedding ring. And I was like, then he starts asking me about if I know the size of my ring finger. Guys, I can't make this stuff up. So start talking to me about my rings, how I need the rings, and this, that. I didn't even tell you guys. We're on the plane. I'm telling you about how I wanna. I'm thinking about, I'm really trying to focus on getting out of my job and teaching. And I was like, yeah, but really, you don't have to work though, even really, do you? Because if you just find the right person, you guys just work together. I was thinking, none. This is how they all behave. I just want to say, this is an average day at the office. This isn't a new thing. This isn't like a rare occasion. This is an average day at the office. Like while I'm just here making videos, right? And you guys just see me grinning in my videos. This is part of the reason, because I'm just knowing what I'm knowing. And I'm not telling anyone. I'm not telling a soul. I'm just keeping it between me and the Lord. And me just giggling about it together, me and God. And I'm not telling anybody, because I'm not telling the ladies, because all they're doing, a lot of the ladies, unfortunately, I hate to say, are complaining about men these days, and I'm just like, I just can't relate. Like, can you guys understand? I can't relate. So then we finish up, yada yada yada. I was stuffed to the brim, and I was like, wow, like, talk about, we then leave the restaurant, we go sit in the car. Well, of course, he opens the door, I think. We get in, and then now he's going to drive 2 hours to drive me back. So I'm saying, this man drove, I don't know how much. On the way, we did stop to get some petrol, because I was like, do you not need gas? And we're talking about the gas prices and all this. We had so many interesting conversations. So like I said, we're not going to get into it, because it's mine and his, forget me. It's his personal business, okay? And I'm not going to share the business of a man with anybody. That's lock and key. So that's why I haven't told you guys about a lot of what we were talking about. And I've only really talked about things that I've said, or like a few bits here and there. But he did tell me about everything. And like, I remember when he went, this was the key moment for me. While we were like, after we'd eaten and we were like obviously going to leave soonish, I was sitting there and he decides to go to the toilet, and I was going to well up and start crying, because I was thinking, this happens to me with men all the time. They treat me so well and they're so nice. And then I know the things they've been through because they've told me, and it shatters my heart. Like, this is why I'm so emotional, guys. This is why I hate this planet. It's not, people love to say that it's because of my upbringing or whatever. It's the things I'm hearing from the men and the children. You know what I mean? It's the things I'm hearing from the men and the children. People ask, like, what could you possibly have in common with a man who's like 17 years older than me? You women, you Jezebelic women of the world, you people are the thing. So anyway, as he goes to the bathroom, now I'm feeling like crying. So I go to cry, and then you never guess what song started playing. Just like when I was in Italy. Wicked Game. Wicked freaking Game. Because I was thinking it is a wicked game. That's why I listened to the song. Like, I'm not going to get into it, because I don't want to get into his business. But anyway, so he returns, we get in the car, we start driving back. 2 hours drive we got to do. And the whole time he's just checking on me. I'm thinking, sir, are you not tired? But what I did notice, and this was important to me, because like I said, I was worried, his hands were no longer shaking, and he was calm, and he was breathing normally. And his hands had been shaking for days, because he kept telling me that my hands are still shaking. It's like, I was like, did this happen to you? He's like, yeah. His hands are still shaking. And I was like, I knew why he was in the state he was in. Anyway, so now he's driving, and I can see his hands on the steering wheel. They're not shaking. He isn't shaking. He's completely still. And he's just like, okay. And I was like, okay, good. At least the little that I could have done to help, very, very tiny amount in comparison to him literally doing all this stuff. Because that was the thing. I was like, I really hope that he feels better, because he also hadn't been sleeping, which he also did sleep, I believe, now. I was like, I hope that I can like help him, because whatever. And that was that. And so then he drops me back, obviously make sure that I'm safe. You know what I mean? It didn't push for anything else. Just asked me to give him a hug. Although he had told me in the beginning, he was like after the airplane incident, he wanted to give me a kiss. I was like, sir, you need to slow down. But yeah, and then he drops me back, and that was that. Walk off with my bottle of water that I got in his mum's house after just a day of dreams, essentially. And like the dinner was perfect timing because to me, it's like you go to dinner like once you kind of have an understanding. Dinner ultimately out of nowhere, out the gate for me, is too intense. After we spend the whole day together and we've done lots of different things, it was a lot easier because now we kind of like, really broke the ice, spend a lot of time around each other. So it's a lot more casual. And of course, he did eat his food in all of total of 3 seconds flat because he's a male and they eat like they're about to die and their plate is going to run away. But I love it. And that's also what makes us want to eat you guys' food. If there are any men want to know who've made it this far, I'll be very surprised. The food looks better in your mouth. That's what you guys understand. When you guys are eating it and the way you're eating it as well, it's like that's got to be good. Like that has to be good. That's got to be better than whatever I have because you look like you're going to die if you don't have this. So now I want to try it. But yeah, so that was the day. It's hard to even call it a day. I feel like that's an underestimate. And at the end of it, it was like, I hope that it was good. And I was like, what do you possibly mean by that? What do you mean you hope? What do you mean you hope? And so, I texted him afterwards to just say thank you and everything and like how he did so much. And he was like, oh, what did he say? Something so sweet. Like, you're worth, um, something like everything is worth it for you. I was just like, oh my gosh. That's why when the women talk to me about, oh, the men are like this, they're like this, where are the good men? I'm like, you know what? I've realized they're over here with those of us who have a nice attitude and who are nice to be around and who give them a chance and who listen to them and who don't go around telling everybody all of their business and who are concerned about them as well. Because like I said, even though he was doing everything for me, probably even more than I was concerned about anything for myself. I didn't have to go on a date. It's fine. I'm good. I'm good. Look, I'm good. Me and the Lord. But I was actually concerned about him, and like that's usually what keeps me interested. Sometimes so I'm like, you're not okay, sir. Like you're not okay, and we can't have you dying on us. And so to see that he was doing a lot better after the fact, I was like, okay, this is good. This is good. I feel good. I feel good that he was so calm by the time we left. You know what I mean? By the time he left. And then he still had to go and drive another hour and a half all the way back. Oh my gosh. To wherever. And I've just walked inside, had my shower. I've done all this stuff. I'm chilling on my phone by the time he's not even made it home yet. And then he messages me to say he made it home. And I was like, good for you. And, and just to know everything that he's been through and everything. These are the things, you guys. These are the things that why I am so like, I wish that the people would actually listen because I'm actually hearing a lot of stuff and I actually know a lot of stuff. And I'm actually trying to help everyone. And sometimes I say things that don't sound nice for either men or women. And it's not because I'm on the attack, it's because I'm on the defense. I'm defending women, I'm defending men. Do you guys understand what I'm saying? I'm not attacking men or women, I'm actually defending both of us. I've actually seen things from both sides, and I'm actually trying to help us to understand each other because we have to come to an understanding. And that's what I feel like why I have a lot in common with these types of guys, because always these kinds of guys. I have way more stories I could tell you about. Oh my gosh, I got so many stories I could tell you guys. Because I've been keeping them all to myself. But like I hear them out, I hear that what they've been through, and I think about what I've been through. I'm like, oh my gosh, we've basically been through like the same kind of thing, not the same thing, the same kind of thing, and but somehow we've both still chosen. And like this is what I even said to him. I was like, look, at the end of the day, I really respect you massively for the fact that you still choose to be this, like, be how you are. You didn't have to be so nice. You didn't have to be so caring. You didn't have to be so trying. Oh, I forgot to mention he took me to see his land. That was what I forgot. He took me to see his land that he bought here. He has land here, so show me the land he has here. Yeah, he took me to see that as well when we first arrived. I'm like, you're so sweet and you've done, and you're so nice. Like, this is why I feel protective. This is why I get angry. This is why I'm like, if I'm going to be the one who's going to come, who was like, used to the hellish life and kind of just takes it on my stride that, I'm heinous myself. I'm going to turn that rather than do a Jezebel and use that to deceive everybody. I'm going to use that to defend everybody. Like, I feel defensive. I feel men, when it comes to women, men really can't actually stand up for themselves. Like, this is what I realized. They can't. Because anything that they do, any way that they try to fight, they're not going to be heard. And anyways, they're men, they're not going to talk about it anyway. They're going to internalize as they do and whatever, right? And also society doesn't care about them. Society doesn't care. Just be so honest. Everything I hear a lot of times with women is like, I need this, I need a man this, I need a man that. I was even saying to him, because he was asking me about like my history and whatnot. And I was saying, I was intentionally single for a long time after I was like, I didn't even think about a guy for years after the previous relationship I was in, because I was focusing on changing myself and making sure that I actually become a better person. And I was telling him that I think a lot of people spend more time thinking about what they want and what they deserve and what they think, or even Christians praying for a wife, praying for a husband. I'm like, God's like, I'm not going to bring anyone to you who's actually good for you, because you're going to ruin them, because you're not even focusing on yourself. You haven't improved your own self. So that was that. It was very nice. Afterwards, he messaged me and he told me for the second time, which again, I couldn't believe it. And actually, the first time he told me was the precursor and the trigger for the situation of Jezebel. You're the most beautiful woman I've ever met. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? All of the things that he did and how gentlemanly he was is what brought the best out of me. When guys are harsh and horrible, I'll just withdraw, because I'm not petty. But if you wanted to get petty, it's always going to be worse for you guys. That's why you guys should just do the right thing, and then we can all just have a good time. You know what I mean? Like we did. So then of course he messaged me this morning. Good morning, sweetheart. So cute. Anyways, you guys, just thought I'd give you the debrief. So much to say on the topic, which we'll get to. And I will show you guys footage of a lot of different things, but I just wanted to let you guys know the full breadth. And again, long live the patriarchy. Did I lift a finger? Did I take anything out of my handbag other than my lip gloss and like whatever? No, I did not, because the patriarchy did it all. And I was just like, wow. And it was an incredible day. We both enjoyed ourselves massively, because even he said, he was like, oh, how much he enjoyed the whole time. Even though he broke his back, literally. He broke his entire back. And he still felt like it was such a good day. And I was just like, you know what? I could never hate the men. Long live the patriarchy. If life's a game, let's play to win. God bless you all. God loves you. I love you. And I'll see you in the next one.